What up, guys? You guys are watching the Anthony Brandon Show, and today I have the very special guest over here, Effjay.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
How's everything going, man?
Oh, man, good. Just trying to find a way to stay awake, but on track with everything else, man. The daily, you know.
Yeah. So one of the reasons that I actually wanted to interview you today is because you're one of the persons that not only I guess you're on a different side compared to a lot of photographers here in the city. You're more on not just a photographer, but you also have this creative space over here where you've had it for a little bit over a year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been about a little bit over a year. I want to say 14 months or so, 15 months. Finally got a chance to open it to the public in September of 2016. So keeps the community a little busy and occupied, having somewhere to come and get creative. Pretty dope. Yeah,
definitely. So it's been a little bit over a year since you opened this to the public, but how long was it in manifestation for? How long ago were you oh, what if I were to open a shop one day, or a location or studio one day?
Yeah. I mean, just like a lot of people out there, I've always wanted to have my own business, but I also wanted to always do something that was good for other people too. I didn't want to open a store and sell things to people, nothing like that, really. And when I fell into photography, I started kind of realizing that I needed studio space. So I was running around town with my wife, just carrying seamless rolls for backdrops, going to parks, hotel rooms, people's homes, things like that, just kind of creating my studio on the road. And it was just not easy, just packing everything into the car. So kind of came up with the idea of trying to find a space that I could rent out, which didn't quite work out for me because I wasn't finding the things that I needed out there to allow me to shoot the way that I like to shoot, the way that I'm used to shooting. So I started looking for a spot that I could rent out and build my own studio. From the get-go, this was just gonna be something for me and her, where we can kind of call home away from home and just do our studio work. And we spent about 10 months putting time and effort into this place, building it up, before we kind of finally got, before we got a chance to open it up to the public. Through that process of the 10 months, we just kind of realized, man, there are so many people here like us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us, and this is the way I'm going to refer to it this way because this is how I refer to myself. I was a broke artist. There's a lot of broke artists in this community that don't have somewhere to go where not only it offers, varieties of backdrops, the equipment they need, but it's also affordable. If an hour is all you need, that's fine. I'm not going to make you book, 2, 3, 4 hours just to come shoot here. Hey, you got 6 photographer friends with you and you want to split $60, with your 6 friends, $10 a pop, come through.
Yeah.
Have fun, get creative, do what you want to do in here. So that's kind of where the whole thing started. And then, when we realized that, we just made that the new goal.
Yeah.
And we tried to set a date, but it took too much longer. This whole build was
originally
nuts.
in mind. How long were you planning? How long did you expect this place to take for the whole modeling and everything, remodeling of it?
1 to 2 months before we considered having the psych wall. But I've always wanted one. I just never actually looked into building one.
Yeah.
Pretty handy. So,
yeah, you're a pretty handy guy. Everything here you've built, you and your wife, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Mainly because, well, one, we're handy enough to do so, but mainly because we didn't have the funds. We couldn't afford to pay somebody to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So that's what we ended up doing. And I got a second job. I had one job to take care of regular life at home. And I got a second job to help me take care of the studio's life, so that helped me build this place. Where I come from, I don't like loans. I don't like being in debt. The only debt I want to have is with my own pocket, so, and my own time, mainly. So I got a second job and we just went hard on it, man. I was working a lot. We spent countless nights here just building this place between 1 in the morning and 6, 7, 8 in the morning, just going hard on it,
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it ended up an amazing place.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we're stoked on it. And there's always a lot more that we want to add to the space, just to give people more variety. We don't like the thought of people getting bored. I would get bored basing the same things all the time. We'll try to paint things differently and do that. So hopefully we can find more and more time to do more and more for people out here.
Yeah, definitely. Like when starting this whole place, what are some of like the biggest struggles that you dealt with along the journey?
Definitely time. Luckily, I was putting in enough hours at my work where I was able to, provide the funds to supply everything I needed to be able to buy materials, but time. I was literally taking naps, My main job was 5 days a week, and it was 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., 5 days a week. So I couldn't get out of that. That was my regular. That was my bread for home. So when I got the other job, it was where I was working there mornings all the way towards. Sometimes I would have to take my work clothes for my second job, for my main job, and just drive straight there and change.
Yeah.
So because I was getting off at 1 a.m, I would go pick up my wife, and then drive on down.
Yeah.
And just get to work, man, whether cold or hot.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I actually really admire. Like just from hearing this, like I could tell that you have a strong work ethic, and also like when it comes to all this, like I feel like the majority of the people, or like, yeah, pretty much the majority of people out there, like they're not willing to put in the time, or they're not willing to put in the work. And nowadays, like you could say like, oh, like you're able to do this like full time.
Yeah.
I guess you could say luckily in a way, but at the same time, it's also not luckily. Like you spent the hours, you put in the time, and you had hard times to be able to make this stuff all happen,
Yeah, definitely worked for it.
Yeah.
Definitely worked for it. And I wasn't able to quit my jobs right off the bat. I still continued to, again, we shoot as well. Yeah. We're photographers. So that's something I never would ever plan to let go, ever. So finding the time to juggle the two jobs, and then my clientele where me and my wife were shooting, and then the studio's rentals was tough, because there's just not enough time in a day to do all of that. I'm so damn blessed, dude, to have my wife though, because she will be here and she'll do her best to host the rentals during that time period.
She's a big supporter during the whole experience, right?
Yeah. If I can't be here, she'll be here, doing the rentals, just checking people in and introducing them to what we have here and just hosting them, So I'd be at work, and if she had an issue, then she'd call me, and then I'd have to come down and just like try to help out. But because she's helps me direct and assist with all that stuff, but she's not, tech savvy with a lot of the ways that the lights work, angles and things like that. So we try to make it a point that if people are coming here to shoot and they've never used strobes before, they have no idea what a transmitter receiver is for, the strobes and their cameras. We spend 5-10 minutes or whatever we can out of their time to show them how to
to really instruct them how to
especially sometimes people are coming here that have never used strobes before, and they have this specific shot that they need to get, or or type of shots for products or something like that, and they need something specific. And I know that they're on a time budget, so I will set it up for them.
You try to help you try to help them as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. We try to definitely make that something that we do for them, for everyone. So if that was something that was coming up, I would get a phone call from her. Like, all right, you got to come down here because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. So, but before any of this happened, before this whole studio was a thing, you were doing photography. How did you get into that?
So back, I want to say, was it like 2010, I believe? My brother-in-law, myself, and another friend, we started a clothing brand. Yeah. It just seemed like something really fun to do at the time. And we did have these big dream plans for it. Yeah. We had a cool launch party and everything. We actually we got to see the brand for the launch party. It was at LAX nightclub on billboards, and it felt good. Although it's just a billboard for nightclub promotion, like it's not even a big deal, honestly. But it just felt so good, you know. So when we had that going on, we were doing all of our work in house. So we're like, we don't know anything about cameras, but we're gonna use what we have now, you know. So we just started working with digital cameras, and then my brother-in-law had a DSLR, but it wasn't anything fancy. You know, so we were just using those and doing a lot of photoshopping. And then from that point on, through editing and whatnot, I just kind of fell into it. People were just kind of saying, you know, you take some pretty cool pictures. And then, like, I'm sure it happens with a lot of us.
Yeah.
You know, your friends will hit you up like, hey, you know, do you want to do a photo shoot with me or this and that? You know, and then one thing led to another. And then eventually it just started feeling like work a little bit. So I was like, man, this is taking a lot of time. Sometimes you spend an hour on one photo, you know, maybe more. So when I started getting inquiries on bookings and stuff like that, I just kind of realized, like, man, this is something I would love to do for forever.
And you realized it was something that you could actually do.
Yeah, and honestly, I was naturally good at it because I loved it, you know? So I didn't have to sit there and read books or go to school for it. Not that, you know, I shouldn't have. But it's not something that I fell into because I took a course. I just fell into it because, you know, it was an art form that I needed at the time. Yeah. And then from that point, went on and on and on and kept loving it, man.
Little by little, by little, just
turned
into something bigger.
Yep.
All right, FJ. So what inspires you, man? Like what makes you get out of bed in the morning, man?
Life, man. Just, you know, making it through life. Without having to be concerned about all the things that come with life, where financial, you know, that financial struggle, you know, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And just building for the future, having a good future where I'm not, you know, struggling anymore, or feeling, you know, just feeling lost or whatever. You know, a lot of us go through that. Yeah, you know, that's actually a big part of a lot of us artists. You know, not everyone talks about that stuff, but a lot of us artists will, you know, throw on some tunes and some headphones, you know, turn the computer on or Canvas, you know, things like that. And you're sitting there, you're doing what you're doing, and you're listening to music. And a lot of the times you're relating to the stuff you're listening to. And at the same time, you know, you're no longer feeling like a book that can't be read because you're listening to something that you're relevant to. Yeah. Right. It just helps you kind of stay focused and whatnot. So definitely waking up in the morning, make sure that I'm doing what I have to do to, you know, keep me and my wife, you know, happy and moving forward. That's what keeps me going, man.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Along the way, like what would you say is the best piece of advice anyone has ever given you?
Best piece of advice anyone has ever given me.
Anything in general, from life to
I hear you. You know, a lot of people have given me advice. You know, mostly everyone's like, you know, just do what you love and all that stuff that you hear often. But this is a very simple answer for me, really. It's not so much advice that I had gotten. It was what my dad did for me by not telling me no. I got into a lot of trouble when I was a kid. You know, I've had my share of trouble. Yeah. He would tell me when something is wrong, when I'm doing something wrong, but he never told me, don't do this, don't do that. He never like punished me, you know, or anything like that. And I was always that little kid that wanted to just be a grown up. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do too much of playing with too many toys and things like that. I wanted to be like the grown-ups, you know? Yeah. So I was able to kind of recognize that, even though I would go outside and then, you know, play with my friends or whatever. And then at the end of the day, I did something dumb. I know that I'm coming home and I'm not necessarily going to be in trouble, but I would acknowledge that was a choice that I made and I'm going to have to learn from it, you know? Yeah. So it's that my dad never actually, you know, beat me on things like that. He knew that I would pick it up, it just seems like. So I would say that was pretty much the foundation of the way I'm built.
That's interesting. That's really interesting, actually. Yeah. Is there anything in particular that you wish you would have known sooner that maybe like would have maybe sped up the process or like fix little things? Is there anything that like now you know that you're like, oh, I wish I would have known that sooner?
Yeah, there's a lot of things really. I'm not like I'm not this business owner that went to school for it or anything like that. You know, it's not something to be prideful about, but I did everything I had to do on my own to acquire the skills and whatever knowledge I needed to start my own business, right?
You learn from experience.
I learned from my own experience. Along with that comes a lot of things that I didn't catch on right away. You know, no one's gonna tell you how fast you can make your business successful, and then just give you the tools right away to do it. You know, like cash flow and all that stuff. So I wish that I knew a lot of that process in advance, so I knew what I was kind of getting myself into. At the end of the day, I don't regret it. I do live day by day, and I do like to plan for the future, but I do live day by day. You know, so I face the problems every single day. Yeah, man, that's pretty much where I sit with that.
I see it, man. But yeah, for any up and coming like photographer, because the one thing I see in the city is that there's a lot of people like, not just in this city, but I guess everywhere around the world nowadays, is that photography slowly but surely is becoming a mainstream thing. And one of the things is like a lot of people literally love photography, and I see a lot of people struggling, but at the same time they don't have the right mentality, or they don't have like they don't really take the time to look into the business or anything. But what would you tell like a photographer that loves to do it, that might want to actually like pursue it as a career? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Definitely starting off with stick to it. You have to put a lot of time into it. You know, there's tools out there that people don't even know about. You know, you can have software, start off with Photoshop or something and just start editing, you know, just have fun with it. One of the biggest things that I don't like about our industry is that a lot of the, you know, I like to just, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but there's a lot of photographers that are grown at a textbook, you know, where they learned this stuff in school, which is all good. It's totally fine. But because I have this studio and I see a lot of kids that come here, you know, keep in mind, I'm not a young cat. I'm turning 32 at the end of this month, you know, on the 31st. I'm 32, man. I'm feeling like I'm 60. My back is killing me. I mean, you got to see a little while ago how I'm back and forth, you know, it's just, so I see these kids come in, they're still in school and you know, and they're learning how to do photography with these lights and stuff. And at the same time, they've gotten, you know, all this criticism from older photographers that are telling them, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can do whatever the hell you want with these lights, man. What people don't know is that most of the time I shoot with one light. I got plenty of lights. Yeah. But if you've seen my work, I get clientele based on my work. Yeah. Not because I followed someone else's style. I prefer to shoot outdoor. I have my own studio, but I prefer to shoot outdoor because I get more creative out there. You know, I like to bring my light out there and just make it fight against the sun. You know, I can try to make it look like sunset at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, do what you want to do. But before you do that, set a goal. You know, come up with an idea and be like, I want to knock this out today. I wonder if I can. And if you don't, you'll find out why when you're editing or not editing, whatever, just looking through your photos, you'll find out why. Yeah. And then tomorrow you'll be able to knock it out, you know? So don't listen to people that are trying to tell you that, you know, give you advice because they're better than you. Listen to people who are giving you advice because they've been through what you've been through. And at the same time, they're saying, take my advice, use it how you want to, you know, just kind of go for it, you know, just maybe one day it'll work for you. Maybe one day it won't, who knows? But I don't like hearing that. That's something that happens pretty often to a lot of our, you know, community photographers. I
agree on that.
Yeah.
All right. So it's about to be the end of 2017. 2018 is coming up. But honestly, like at the end of the day, like maybe within like 5 years, where would you like to see yourself at, man?
Well, I don't want to necessarily leak out the plan yet, and not because it's confidential or anything like that. But I'm just one of those people where like I feel like if I talk about it too soon, it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? I jinx it or something.
Or things always change, you know? Like one day you want something, the next day you want something else.
That I've been through that stage plenty of times, man, plenty. But going back to me being turning 32, married, just working on hopefully having some kids, family and all that. I'm trying to make sure that I do it responsibly, but I also want to venture a little bit more into my woodworking stuff, getting into more of the builds and stuff like that. In 2018, we have some plans in motion, my wife and I, along with my cousin, where we're going to come together on an idea and then jump into that. But that is just going to, if it works out right, it's just going to give us more freedom, because we don't have time to travel, to see the world. It sucks because my wife, she works so damn hard with me. If I'm here most of the time, like if I'm here, she's here most of the time, it's 15-hour clocks, 16-hour clocks for us, she's here often. So I feel bad when I can't, make enough time to go and take her out on a trip or something like that. We're definitely aiming for something that's going to allow us to do that. And then eventually, finally be able to hire, some cool people to come and be our staff here.
Yeah, because right now at the moment, you and your wife are literally
That's it.
You
That's
and your wife
man.
are running 2 locations.
Yeah. Just her and I between here and the workshop. So it's pretty hard, man. It's pretty hard. She's not here right now because I actually pampered her with something for her. She's getting some stuff done. Doing her lady thing. She's usually she hardly has the time to just be a lady like most girls want to be. But more than half the time she's being this strong woman with me. My support and everything. So I mean, it's crazy because I don't know a lot of guys that can handle power tools and stuff like that. Like she built this vanity, this body mirror by herself. Like it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. So we don't have any plans to ever shut this place down. If anything, we want it to expand. If we ever move, it'd be a bigger location. But
were you born here in Vegas?
No, I'm from LA, man.
Oh, LA.
I'm from LA.
Okay.
Yeah. My life is still, just kind of revolves on the idea of someday going back to California. But man, it's crazy expensive out there.
Yeah.
So life is here right now. And
how long has it been here for? How long have you been?
I came here pretty young when my dad's work moved here.
Okay.
Back in '97.
Oh, okay.
So, but I moved away for a little while, and then came back. I got in trouble and stuff like that. So I moved away and then came back and blah, blah, blah. So I just, I threw a lot of time away, just doing things I shouldn't be doing, and just kind of got my thoughts together. I got my thoughts together because my life wasn't together. So I got my thoughts together and made some goals. And we are some pretty humble people. We want to do charity things, the stuff that we've always talked about, and we just got to find a way to do it. Yeah, man, just staying humble, things like that.
Awesome.
Focused, keeping this place alive for the community because we need it.
Yeah.
I would hate to see this place close down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so far, like a lot of creatives come here. A lot of like if you're in Vegas, like you definitely have to make sure to stop by at Creative Space, because at the end of the day, they have it's like one of the. I'm not sure if it's the cheapest, but I'm guessing it's definitely one of the cheapest places.
I don't know, man. I've never actually looked into any competition or anything like that because it's never been something for me,
Yeah, definitely.
All I knew is that I wanted to build this crazy creative space with different kinds of backdrops, wooden panels, things like that, and make it affordable for people. I do know that we get a lot of people who have gone to other places and then they end up coming here, and I really don't know for what exact reason. But we're happy to have people here, and so
yeah, you could fit a car in here. You could
Yeah, people rolling cars and stuff like that. We get all kinds of cool stuff, man. People come here from all over, the country, outside of the country, from London and stuff. They book in advance. It's pretty cool, man. I never sit down and really take it all in because I'd probably end up crying or something. Damn.
Yeah, definitely from you could have never imagined all the experience and everything that's happened within the past year, right?
Yeah, I never, man, never. And when people are here, if you're here on a rental, chances are I'm filthy. You know, I'm in work boots and I got like sawdust all over my face or something. And I'm like coming back and forth from the shop to here. And it happens where like we've had, you know, some pretty, you know, well-known artists or, you know, I guess on a celebrity basis that come by here.
Yeah.
Or TV stuff. And here I am, filthy, just welcoming them in, you know, just like, just have to go through it, you know. But anyone that comes here and meets me at the end of the day, like they know that's me, man. Like I like to stay working. So it's pretty cool, to be able to fit into this whole environment, even while I'm being myself. You know, I've done photo shoots in steel toe boots before.
So throughout the journey, like I want to know your perspective on like social media. Like how do you see social media, like from the moment that you started as a photographer to up until now with your whole business and everything running it? How important or not important is it for you and your business?
It's very important, not only for mine, but for just about anyone. Even if you're just thinking about getting into business, it's very important because it defeats every other type of marketing out there. TV commercials people don't even pay attention to that stuff. Commercials on the radio, like you just change the station, you know. Magazines, like who gets them anymore? I do, but that's because I don't know. I'm just, I like magazines. I still like to, when a CD comes out, I still go out and buy a real CD, you know, but that just kind of comes with my appreciation for, music, so.
But to the mainstream, it like slowly dies away.
Yeah, it does. But social media is key. The whole thing is that people just kind of lose over is keeping your structure, your material clean, or not necessarily always clean, but according to what you're selling, what you're doing, what you're offering, whatever it is that your business revolves around. Maintain, a professional, attitude with that, because people read off of the stuff that you share. You see, obviously, you're familiar with my personal photography account. You see that my wife and I, we shoot a lot of girls. And any of these girls you can ask would never say anything negative about us. They love us because we work as a team, and we don't sit there and waste time talking bad about another model or anything like that. All that stuff is bad. But I see a lot of that on social media where even models are just bashing each other. I personally don't like to work with people like that. I'm a very just straight to the point kind of person. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem kicking somebody out if they're not being humble. If they're just kind of like just disrespecting the space or me or my wife. It's just not okay. So I wouldn't do that to anybody. So I wouldn't even allow myself to take that to social media because it represents who we are. So I think that my advice would be definitely use some social media, keep it clean, and make it, so that people understand what you do. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Like in my opinion, well, not just my opinion, but I guess check the numbers, but like it's safe to say that you're one of the most followed known photographers here in Vegas in general, like from like, I guess you could say like within like the local community here.
And I don't necessarily know if it's because people love, the people that follow me necessarily just love my photography, or if it's also because of the studio, because people come here, they get to know me, and then they know about my my personal photography account, and they follow me there too, and things like that. But yeah, man, I've had Instagram for a very long time. I never opened it up to do business. I'll tell you, I opened up my account because I snowboard a lot, my wife and I. And years back, when Instagram first started, my buddy Cameron, we were up going to Brian Head. He had an account, and he's like, "You should get one of these guys, blah blah. We can put all of snowboarding videos and things." So I was like, "All right, cool, whatever." It's like it's Instagram with pictures. I'm sorry, Twitter with pictures, So I got one. So I started sharing a lot of snowboarding stuff, and then started getting some snowboarding, demographic, I guess you could say, followers. And then I started the clothing brand thing. So then ventured into that. And then I started photography. And I was doing a lot of photography between here and LA. So I got to meet a lot of people that way. That was before I met my wife. And then she came right into the picture, and we just kept growing. And it just kept going, man.
Yeah, but that's something I actually really like find interesting and admire in a way, because like at the end of the day, like you'd expect like maybe like some 22-year-old or 25, 20, like 18-year-old, like to be on top on the number side of things. But you, at the end of the day, like you have more experience, or you've been doing this for you're one of like the older cats, I guess you could say. Yeah. And yet you're still like make a mark upon all these other guys.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I do get some people that come around here and they ask me for advice. They'll message me, they'll send me DMs or email me, and they ask me for advice, and I'm always down to give it out, because I admire that, you know, that they have time to admire other people. Yeah. And when people want to compliment on my stuff like that, it feels good, and I appreciate it. So that comes with all of that. I'm pretty lucky to have that, you know. I think I always told my wife that I think a big part of, you know, why also got a lot of, you know, following over the past, 7 years, whatever. Why I got, you know, the following to come up is because I was also never someone who posted anything about myself. So I was like this mysterious, like, what do you look like, you know, type of profile. Yeah. But I was putting out work, a lot of work, you know, and I've deleted a lot of stuff, you know, but I was putting out a lot of work, and people kind of, you know, want to know who's the artist, you know, who is he? What does he look like? It's kind of a mystery, you know, so you wouldn't meet me or know me unless you personally know me or we set up a shoot.
So for everyone watching, man, what should they expect from you and the creative space and all your future ventures? What should they expect within the near future, man?
I'm always going to be here, you know, as much as I can possibly be here.
Yeah.
You know, this studio is for our community, so I'm happy to be here for that, and I plan on sticking around for that. But other than that, I mean, it's just definitely focusing a lot on my personal life, you know, with myself and my wife, and then maybe some kids in the future. But that's pretty much what I would expect.
How many kids do you want, man?
I don't want a lot, man. I just want I want 2 kids, you know. That's all I want.
Boy, girl, boy, or
I definitely want a little boy first, so that he can take care of the little girl, you know. So that would be definitely in the next few years, hopefully.
What about your wife? Is she on the same page, or is she like, I want 5 kids? I
don't know. No, she doesn't want a lot of kids either. No, she doesn't want a lot of kids either. I think we both max out at 2. If we don't give up after the first. So we have nephews and stuff, and they're our world, you know. We spend, you know, whatever time we can, you know, with them. We're just so busy all the time, but when they're around, man, it's just the greatest time, you know.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we definitely love kids, you know. We're also animal people, and we just want to have time for all that stuff. So it's definitely charity stuff for kids and then animals. We want to get into some stuff that helps all of that out as much as we can. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So for everyone watching as well, man, like, where can they follow you at, man? Where?
My personal photography account, it is my personal, but everything on there consists of me and my wife's work together, you know, plus the model or whoever the client is at that point. At Effjaysm, EFFJAYISM. That's where people can find me.
Was FJ taken, or why was it always Effjaysm?
So, you know how like the ism just kind of came out of like, it's like something like it's something to the extent, I guess, you know, or like or just emphasizing like, you know, realism, you know, how, you know, so I just figured like Effjaysm is kind of like my feel, my vibe, you know. So it comes back to my angles, you know, and all that stuff. I'm a huge, I'm big on angles. Like that's my thing. Like it looks like I'm doing yoga half the time, you know, when I'm doing but angles. So that's an Effjaysm treatment for you, you know. So yeah.
That's dope, man. And they can check out the website at creativespace.com.
Creativespacelv.com. Yep. Okay. They can check out the space there. They can check out some photos.
Did the name just come like Creative Space?
It came by pretty easy, man. Yeah. Pretty easy. When we were just filthy building the psych wall, we're just trying to come up with a name. But, you know, along that was just the conversation. We wanted to create a space, you know, put together a space that was going to be creative, you know, allow people to get creative. So create a space.
Create a space. There you go.
Yeah, it was easy.
Add the LV.
So, added the LV, you know, and that's how that happened. You know, it just, honestly, I didn't even have to think twice about it. I was like, damn, that's perfect, you know, because people can come here and get creative in this space. So
that's awesome, man. But thanks for taking the time to let me in for a bit and really do a whole interview here, man. I love the place. I love what you're doing, man, and I hope nothing but good comes for you. Nothing but good goes on for you, man. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, everybody that's watching, go follow him on Instagram. Go most importantly, if you're like a photographer here in the space, like here in Vegas, or maybe visiting Vegas one day, you should definitely come here, man.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. I actually appreciate you tons, because I've never done anything like this. You know, my wife talks to me about, you know, maybe, you know, putting out some sort of story or something like that one day, but it's just not my style. Like, I'm pretty much just down to jeans and a shirt. I'm boring as hell, you know. So I just like to keep to myself and just do what I can for our community. So you coming out here and interviewing me, like, I don't even know how to hold this microphone, bro. But you know, I'm just like, shit. I'm having a blast. I really appreciate it, because you're definitely here taking the time to talk to me about me, you know, and what me and my wife have done. So it's definitely a blessing. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no problem. At the end of the day, I want to be able to give a voice to creatives that might not necessarily get the chance, you know, to the world.
Yeah, anything is possible, man. Anything is possible, but work hard.
Work hard,
man. You got to work hard, man.
For anything you want. But man, pleasure having you on the show, man.
Hey, man, pleasure, man. My pleasure. I'm real happy. Thank you, man. Thank you.
No problem, man.